Today's morning coffee vinyl side. Jimmie Rodgers, TV Favorites, Vol.1, 1959. We've already talked about how Jimmie Rodgers ended up nearly beaten to death by mob enforcers on the side of the San Diego Freeway 10 years after releasing his debut album on the allegedly Mafia-owned Roulette Records. Yet despite the dire consequences Jimmie suffered in his falling out with the mob in 1967, things were certainly looking pretty good with respect to how his career was unfolding in 1959. From 1957, the year of Jimmie's breakout release Honeycomb, to 1959, the year Jimmie landed his own television variety show on NBC, less than 3 years had transpired. In that period, there were many hit singles, several albums, and a plethora of television appearances, not to mention concerts and engagements that helped cement Jimmie's reputation as one of the big young stars of his day. Though it almost seems like they were handing out TV shows like candy back then, it was a big deal to land one. Television variety shows were almost set up like podcasts are today. If you were promoting something, you made the rounds. Not only was there a circuit, but it was a bit of a racket unto itself, with songs being traded and swapped, and lots of back scratching to be done. You do my show, I'll do yours. This album features new recordings of songs that Jimmie might have performed on that show. The album's liner notes are a little loose on this claim, and is titled Volume 1. It was pretty obvious that Roulette saw the TV show as a vehicle to pump out more records to the market. This was, after all, how they monetized their piece of Jimmie. And I think that's where things started going sideways. Though there are a few inspired performances here, there are a few half-hearted swings and misses as well. And the material is too disjointed, and there's too much variety for the album to congeal as a thing. You can almost feel Jimmie being pulled in several directions, his talent being stretched thin across too many genres. It's confused. What kind of artist was Jimmie? A folk singer? A rock and roller? A pop balladeer? A song and dance man? Or a pre-Vegas Sinatra-styled swinger like Bobby Darin? Roulette released 4 Rodgers LPs in 1959 and 2 more in 1960, and they were all over the map in terms of themes and target market, more like scattershots, and they all neglected the growing youth-orientated music fans that were starting to drive record industry sales. This was, in my mind, a big fail. The Jimmie Rodgers Show ran from 1959 to 1961, so it was relatively short-lived. But I think this album shows exactly how what might have seemed like a good thing might really have been a bad thing after all. And I'm not just talking about being in bed with the mob. Biggest lesson for any artist: figure out who you are or want to be, and be that.